Hi subbies and future subbies, this is Pink Girly from Time to Be Creative, and this morning I'm just going to leave my camera run as I start to put together some more greeting cards. I did a video, 45 scraps, and some of those may come into play in this video as well, but I also wanted to mention that I had done some watercolor greeting cards. Now I took them into the shops, so I don't have a lot of them to show you. Just did blotches of watercolor stems in, added a little sentiment and one of the, I don't know if you call that a vellum or a acetate, I guess it would be, butterfly from Tim Holtz. And the card, inside of the card, I just left blank. So that's one. This is another one that I need to put on a card front. But when I put my tape on to protect my edges, it picked up a little bit of my paper and made that a little rough, so I need to trim that down. This is just a stamp and again some watercolor, but they make really sweet greeting cards, so you might want to try messing around with that because they're fun and they look beautiful. And then yesterday I did some die cutting, and then I just went through. I'm a little off on my measurements, so I'm going to see how I need to adjust these little cardstock blanks. But now this happened to be a sticker from something that I purchased. But some of the pins, this is a piece of pattern paper from a sewing pattern. Not sure how that's going to really look as a card front, but we're going to see. More napkins. Let's see what else I did here. They're mostly napkins. This I embossed and then took some of the Tim Holtz oxide inks. I colored that in and kind of look like clouds, so I have to trim those down. This I spattered the paper, did a stencil, another napkin. I have some book paper here that I glued on my blanks. So I've got quite a few set up here. I need some Valentine cards for an antique shop in a little town not too far from me. So I need to have some of those done by Thursday. Got some of my stamps pulled out. I'm trying to see where my light is making that. I'm terrible at this. And then it's making my focus. I think the autofocus must reset because I know I take that autofocus off, but it always seems to somehow turn itself back on. So this is my little fussy cut box. I did a little bit of stamping. I have her cut out. I have one of her cut out. She's a stamp. I think she's adorable. And so I've got some other things here to work with that I can just dig through and pull out and hopefully use without having to get out my cutter. So I've got those to the side. I've got my stamps. I've got inks, washi tapes, of course, paint. I probably should wipe down my surface here while I'm taking a look at that. I'm going to put my glue gun on. And I just kind of get started because I'm really not sure what direction I'm going to head in. But once you get started, I've said this before in a couple other my videos if you've watched any of them. You just kind of get started and get your groove on, and then they start to go together a little easier, and the ideas seem to come a little more easily. And I don't think that's unique to me. I think that's with a lot of people. Oh my gosh, I have, I guess, matte medium all over my glass work surface here. This is a Tim Holtz, I think he calls it a mixed medium glass work station or something. I like it okay. My room is very cold, so I mean, really, I can mix ice cream on here at times. So that's not always fun. And I don't like, with recording, I don't like this shiny glare that then happens. So I think I'm going to see if this is any kind of a help. If I put I save all the backs of my paper tablet. So this is the 12 by 12 back of a paper tablet. That might be a little better as far as that camera goes. All right, not sure where I'm going to start, but I guess what I should do is show you how I attached my napkins, just so you know how I do it. It may seem a little daunting and a little difficult to do, but you know what? It's not. It's really easy. And you can make these, cut them up, and use them in your journal books, your art journal books, on cards, on any kind of a project that you might like. This, I believe I pulled off, you want to pull off the backings off of your napkins. So you just have that top layer. And I'm not sure if this little guy still has another back on it. It looks pretty thin. I don't really want to, you can use tape too, but sometimes that's not, I hate to waste the tape. You know, there's just something not quite right with me. I just hate to waste the tape. Let's see. I should do it on the edge. I think I have it all off, but I just can't. This tape's not, the washi tape. Don't use washi tape, not working. Let me see where my, oh, I was wrapping Christmas presents and never put my tape back, so I don't have my other tape there. Let me just, you know what? I don't think it's gonna matter too much. So you take a napkin that you like or you want to use, and you kind of just eyeball it where you might like to have it on the piece of cardstock that you're going to work with. I like, so that'll work. And I can always, and this is just a spare piece of cardstock I have sitting off to the side, just so I can show you what I'm doing. And then I'm going to get a piece of plastic wrap. You don't need the good stuff. You just buy it at the dollar store. This is not my tip. I saw a lady do this on a YouTube video probably about 3 years ago, and I, of course, did not write down her name. So I just have my little piece of plastic wrap. I'm going to put that, sorry for the camera, put that off to the side. And I'm going to take my golden matte medium that I have here in a empty dishwashing soap bottle. Again, not my idea. I got that from watching Katie Willingham's streams. But the plastic wrap tip is not mine, and I'm really sorry. I don't know who to give credit to. So I'm a little bit of a lazy crafter. So instead of putting my Mod Podge, it's not Mod Podge, sorry, my work surface or a palette, I just squirt a little bit on it. Inevitably, I always squirt out too much, and then it sits in a different container, and then I end up wasting it. So a lot of times I just squirt a little bit on the piece, and then if I need to add more, I can, and I'm not wasting as much, it seems. So I put that on my work surface, take my little napkin, and just very gently drop it down on the card. And then I'm going to come in with my plastic wrap, lay that on top, and now I can still gently, but a little more rough than what you normally would do if you didn't have that protective surface, and just smooth that out. About this is, if you want to decoupage on any other surface, a bottle, a basket, a wooden bracelet blank, anything like a piece of wood, piece of pallet wood. I've done that. This works great because you can rub your tissue into the surface. And when you're doing a bracelet, like if you wrap it around the napkin around the bracelet and then put your plastic wrap on there, you can stretch and pull that and really get a nice flat surface. Now, the gal I watched, she said you can either let it dry like this or you can pick your plastic wrap up immediately, which is what I normally do. And then that plastic wrap can be used several other times. And I will just let this dry. Now this I got fairly smooth. Sometimes it doesn't even still get as smooth as I might like, but I really don't mind the little crinkles. And when this dries completely, I will take an emery board or I don't know what to call these other things. They're not really emery boards, I guess, because they're a little softer. And then I just sand the edges and take off the excess napkin. And you can fuss around, measure it, tear your edges to exactly match the card you're using, but I don't usually bother with that. So that's how I do that. That's how I covered most of these. Now, I'm thinking of Valentine. So let me see what blanks I might like to use. This one I kind of want to, my thought is, now this is a, I believe it's a Crafter's Companion die cut. So I think I want to put that on there. And then somewhere in all my rubble here, I have one of those stamped gal images that I want to put on there. I was thinking this might be good for a Valentine card. This, definitely this. And I've got two of the puppy dogs, possibly this. Let's see. I'm going to need more Valentine than that. Well, let's see how those go. Now, let me see if I can find my cutout, which is probably not going to happen. I was in the process of starting to make some cards and got interrupted, which is okay. But then I start shoving things everywhere and don't get back to what I was doing or realizing where I put some things. This is a cutout from paper I bought a while ago. And I'm not remembering the name of that either. See, when I first started this craft journey of mine, I didn't think about the possibility of recording. And so my stamps, my stencils, which I don't have many stencils, I didn't keep the names of those things to then be able to tell others, you know, what they are. So I'm just going through my cutouts that I did yesterday and see what I have that I might like to put together on some cards. Butterflies might be good. I'm a little disappointed with this die cut. It didn't really come out all that great. Of course, I did it on white. And I think this is also a Crafter's Companion or Sheena. I don't know if it's Sheena Davis. I'll have to look at one of her videos and see how she puts it together. This is a new die cut that I got that I really like. And then all the little hearts come out and you can use those as well. And I did some in black. Of course, the other thing is it's purple. It's a very small surface to try to get some glue on. This one didn't cut out very well because I was trying to use scrap. So that's, I can only use a portion of that. Some of those. And then I got this little die cut, so that a little truck. So I was thinking about doing a red truck with some hearts coming out the back. And there's other little bits of that truck. I haven't put one of those together yet. There's a little, like a little sideboard thing. I've got some wheels in here somewhere. I'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll see. See how that goes. All right. Now, usually what I do is just start fiddling around with some pieces and see how they lay out. And layer. I like to layer. I like to ink. Now, when you use the Golden Matte Medium, or if you do use the Mod Podge, I stay away from the Mod Podge with using napkins because it does seep through. The napkins are porous, so it seeps through. And for some reason, the Mod Podge doesn't totally dry, at least not for me. So I use Mod Podge a lot, but I use it as a glue when two surfaces I'm gluing together and it's not going to seep through. So I use the Golden Matte Medium, but you're going to get a little bit of bowing. So you want to kind of straighten that out so you have a flat surface. And I'm probably going to use some pop-up dots. I'm going to do some edging and inking. And some stamping. I don't care for my, now this little guy again, he's missing part of the die cut, so I'm just going to trim that to match. Take off that little curlicue. No one will know. Please don't tell. That's a little rough. And somewhere I have one of those, and I don't know how to say the word, but I'll show it to you, where I can put this through and it puts glue on the back. But I don't think I have too much of that left to take me very far. So if I do this, and then I can put Be Mine or something like that on the bottom. Let's see. I pulled out some stamps. I just have to find my Valentine one. I've got My Valentine. I've got You and Me. You and Me might look cute. Let's try that. And then I save all my little end cuts from trimming off cardstock. Sometimes I save too much. And I keep an old mouse pad close by so that I can stamp on that. You get a better image if you stamp on a cushioned type surface. So I'll keep that handy. And I need a stamping block. And I love script behind layers of things. So maybe I will do some of that first. And I usually like, now I wish I had a better script stamp, maybe a little more stretched out. But this is what I have, so this is what I'm going to work with. And then I'll take, I don't want this to be square images on my card. I can't believe it's already been 20 minutes and I haven't gotten anything done. So what I've been doing lately is I'll take an old piece of paper, another one of my scraps, and I just tear it. So then when I put my stamp on, I don't have a square edge. You'll see what I mean. And I don't always use the first inking. I sometimes stamp off, depending on what look you want. And I think I'm going to go with let's see. I'm going to use this plum, Archival, Ranger Archival Plum. I just have the little mini, which works well for me. Ink up my stamp. And I'm going to do a tester. I always do a tester. That's a really nice, I inked that very nicely, Laura. Very nicely, Lori. So then I'm going to use it a second time without re-inking. Put that in the little spot that I created. So it's just very subtle. I don't even know if you can see it. There you go. But really, how adorable does that look? I don't know why. I'm so weird with this stuff. So again, I'm going to do the same thing over here off to the side. I'm going to ink it, stamp off, and then use it here. And I think I'm going to put another one down here. I usually like to do things in odd numbers, so I've got 3 of those on there, which works for me. I'll save my little strips to use those again. And then I need to get out some black. I guess I should have done that right away. And I'm going to use my Archival, Ranger Archival ink black. And see how this stamp looks. I may change my mind. Some stamps you just get a better end product. Or you may not like the font. So I'm thinking I'll put this here. I'll put this over here, and I'll put you and me here, and I don't like that. It's a little too bold, I think, with the word love being so bold. So I'm going to switch this out and find something a little less bold. This one just says My Valentine, and I might like the font a little better. And That might work. So now I'm going to stamp it off onto a piece of cardstock that I had left over. And hopefully do this where you can see what I'm doing. Try not to wiggle too much. Try to just press. Still not, oh, sorry. Still not crazy about that. Let's see what else I have here. Happy birthday, celebrate, party. I wonder how these hearts might look if I just do hearts across the bottom. Things that have those hearts. That's an option. I have hashtag kiss. Got a big old pair of lips sealed with a kiss. I thought I had a really nice Be My Valentine in script, but I'm not seeing that. I've got a hugs and kisses. I think I'm just going to go with those little hearts. If I can see where I laid them. There, no, wrong ones. See, this is how I get myself. Oh, there they are. Get myself in trouble. I keep laying things just wherever. And if I trusted my handwriting more, I would just handwrite it, but I really don't. We'll see how this looks. Now make sure that dries before you start fussing with it. So I'm going to go with that. And then I keep a piece of, you could use anything. Mine just happens to be an old piece of watercolor paper. No reason, it just fell out of my book and I just picked it up and started using it. So I really like to use the Tim Holtz Vintage Photo. The Gathered Twigs is not too bad. I'm not too familiar with a lot of those colors, but you could probably, use your favorite. You could use a red. You could use the purple. But I'm going to go ahead and use the Vintage Photo, which looks like that, if you can determine that that's what it says. I've had mine for a while and bought a bottle of the re-inking solution, the ink. So, and I'm just going to come in and if I pull up a little bit of my napkin, that's okay. Just adds to the character of the card front for me. You could always brush your sponge outward so you're not chancing lifting up the edge of your napkin if that would bother you or you don't like the way that looks. And then I'm going to tear my hearts that I stamped. I may end up not using this. We'll just see how it looks. Sometimes with cardstock or scrapbook paper, I don't like the thickness, so I'll peel it and separate it, which is what I'm going to do here. And then I have a thinner bit to work with. Sometimes you don't want all that heaviness. And I'm going to ink this edge. And I'm thinking I want to put something underneath of this little strip of material or paper or something like that. So this is what we've got so far. We've got our edges inked. We've got some script stamped on there. We've got a cutout from a paper pack. I'm going to just ink those edges so no white is glaring at me. I think I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to put my little bouquet of hearts down the side. Sounds like my hubby might be home. And I'm not sure I like that, but you know what? Let me get a little piece of, maybe a little piece of tea bag. Will work. And maybe I should just stamp on the tea bag. That's also an idea. I don't think I pulled out any little heart stamps, which is probably something that would work too. Let's just see. This is a tea bag that I used or someone used. I had a friend save these for me as well. And then let them dry and then empty out the tea leaves. And they're just beautifully stained. And then you can use them in your artwork. I'm going to cut a little narrower strip. Well, kids, I'm not liking that so much, so I think I'm going to move this down this way. And maybe just leave it go at that. And not overthink it. Whoop. All right, so let's glue this down. I'm going to use some pop-up squares. And I need to find I still think I have a little bit of tape in this. You probably all know what this is. The one company, Xyron, that's what they call it, Xyron. Oh yeah, I still got some tape in there. And so what you do is you just shoot your little item down the little chute. Make sure it's going to fit. And then when you pull the tape that's here, it drags your paper cut through. It's better if you sit it on the surface. And you drag that through. It puts sticky tape on the back of your cutout. Can't wrap my brain around how that works, but it does. And then you want to make sure you just burnish that down a bit. My sisters are awake and they are starting to text. So you just pull that sticky stuff off and then take off your little image. not sure how I can get them to stop. I don't have Facebook open, but it's just sending me all these messages. And then I always use my bone folder. And sometimes you'll get some excess glue between your item. You know, let me just tell them, switch to the other feed, and then I'll say, switch to other feed, please. And thanks. And then maybe that'll take care of that dinging. All right. And then I'm going to put some pop-ups on the back of my love. And I tend to be stingy with these. But I'm going to put 3 on. Now I want to put this on a white card blank. And I'm not sure how I'm going to like how that looks. Now, if I was doing this kind of a thing for a journal or like a journal cover or inside of a journal, especially one that I was selling or a gift, I would add some hot glue or some white glue to these pop-ups. For a card, they stay, I think, well enough. But if you're making something that you want to be a little more long-lasting, I would add some extra glue because they do at some point dry up and pop off. So I'm just going to press them down. And then I hope I can find one of my card blanks. Now you'll see what I mean here where oh, that doesn't look too terribly bad. Kind of misjudged. So make sure you measure. I'm not good with measuring. I'm not good with math. But see, I really could use another 1/2 inch on the side here. So a couple of things. I could push this all the way over and do something decorative down here with some washi tape. I can put another piece of card underneath and layer it up. The thing that makes me crazy when you buy these card blanks, they're just a little bit not quite, don't fold quite even. Now somewhere I have red doilies where I could put a doily underneath there. Gosh, I should put those out. I wonder where I have those. We're already at 40 minutes. I don't even have one card done. Excuse me, taking a sip there. But I think I really might like to see what that would look like with a red doily underneath. Although I could probably ink these edges and that would look good too. That's the easiest thing since I didn't think about that red doily before. I tried to get all my supplies and think of everything I might like to use and have it right here. So I'm not fussing around while I'm recording. So let's just see how this looks. I'm going to put that back. I don't need it. The reason I use a separate piece to ink on is because then it can lift off onto other things and I can move this aside. It's not on my work surface. I am selling my cards, so I want them to be really as near as perfect as they can be. But even if you're giving them to a loved one, don't you want it to be nice and neat and not have ink and splotches all over the back? Well, that's how I do it. Oh, I threw away the wrong thing, and I got this stuff sticking all over. Yuck! What a ucky. Right. So I'm going to think about that. Not a fan, right? Not too great. All right, give me a minute here. I have somewhat of an idea where my doilies might be. It's one of these drawers. And it's in a plastic sleeve, so it should be fairly easy to spot. Plenty of red paper. Where is my Oh, goodness. Well, I'm not seeing it. I wonder how this would look underneath. Once you decide what you like and how you want the card to look, you make a couple of them. Oh, that might work. All right, so let me get a measurement here and I'll quick cut that. So we're going to go with 5 by 7, I'm guessing. Yep, 5 by 7. I have my cutting board right behind me. So we'll do a quick cut. Now it looks like I sprayed this paper with some acrylic paint, some brown acrylic paint. So it's a little bumpy, which I don't mind, but it's not stark white either. But I am going to ink those edges a little bit. Give it a little more antique-y, vintagey look to it. And then I'm going to get my tape runner. Get that as close to the edge as I can. And if you're not familiar with this, there are a couple of companies that have these. They have them now in different sizes. Of course, you can buy small rolls of glue, but they can be expensive because they keep running out. I mean, these last quite a long time. And I have one in 1/8 inch, and this is maybe I have a quarter inch, and this is a 1/2 inch. Double-sided tape. Great for scrapbooking, card making. I always like to open up my card and put it on this way. This can be a bit fiddly, and I might have to trim. It's probably better I don't talk when I do this. That's a little off. See, I did get something on the back of that card. Not good. So I'll have to come back and trim these. And then I can stick that flat on, or I can pop it up. And I think I'm going to pop it. So I'm going to use 4 more of my little pop-up squares. And these come in like a charcoal gray and the white. I haven't seen them in other colors. Never bought the gray. But it might be a good idea. Probably wouldn't notice them as much. You want to keep them as close to the edge, but not where they're hanging over. And usually there's different sizes. I've used the other sizes on this little. You get quite a few for a couple of bucks. And sometimes I cut them if I'm working on something that's really small. And then if you get somewhere that you punch them out and there's a lot of extra foam around it, I save that and use all that too. I save a lot of stuff. Sometimes I get a little carried away with saving scraps. I'm just going to eyeball this and drop it down. And you can leave the card blank inside or put another little sentiment in. I'm not going to do that on the video. But you could add, a little saying in here. Where's my little one of these? I'll just use this so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Here's one. Of course, I would trim that and have it match the card, and you can just glue that inside or write your own message. So that's one. It took me forever. Let's see if we can get rocking and rolling on something here. All right, this one. Yeah, let's do this one because I kind of messed that up. Let's see what we can. I'm going to ink the edge on this. 2 little kids. I thought they were adorable. I've had this napkin forever. They're so stinking cute. And I would like, I think, this one just to say be mine. And somewhere here, I was taking apart a book. See, and I lifted that up. I'll glue that back down. I was taking apart a book, and inside the book had the coolest strips of old paper. Here we go. Look, and they look all stained. I love that. I'll just pull off all this extra paper. Now, I wish I had a stamp that says be mine. I can't imagine I don't have one that says that. But I didn't see it the first time. Hugs and kisses, that's too wide for that. Let me see what I have in my little Wrigley spearmint can. That's the dreams one. Blessings to you. Do you ever look at your stamps and think, I know I should be able to read that? You and the sea. I have a lot of holiday ones in here I need to get put away. I believe. I love you. How cute would that look across the bottom? Let's do that one. This one's going to be, I think, somewhat simple. And going to use the black ink. Got it upside down. A lot of times what I do, and I mean a lot of times I do this, I get working and I have my ink open and I'm not paying attention. I end up laying my piece of whatever I'm working on in the ink pad and the paper just sucks up all that ink and I ruin it. Oh my gosh. I get so annoyed with myself. All right, I'm going to try to stamp on this piece of book paper because I think it'll look cool. Sweet. And the nice thing about the archival ink is that it's permanent. Once it dries, it's permanent. So you don't have to worry about smudging it. And then maybe I need, now because it's napkin, I don't know that I want, all right, where's my glue? Oh, here it is. I'm going to put a little dab down here, see if I can, kind of fix that. Again, this is kind of curled up a little bit. Just want to give it a little bend. I mean, really, are they adorable or what? Look at the little jeans. Put that on a napkin. It doesn't take much to make me lose my mind. This stuff is sturdy. That's not gonna, I'm gonna have to trim that. That's really tough piece of paper. Not sure if I want to put it up there or maybe down here. Maybe down here. And maybe a little piece of, let's see if I can find it. A little piece of cheesecloth. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to find that. I'll be able to use a piece of that. That's fuzzy stuff. I try to put all my laces and those types of material things in one box, and I thought that I had a cloth in here. I think I'll just use a piece of this instead of rummaging. Oh no, I don't want to cut that. That's not what it was. Maybe I'll just use a little piece of this lace. See how this looks. A lot of times if I have lace and it's gathered like the piece of seam binding over the edge. So I just take that off. And of course I don't throw that away either because that's great for adding to journals or making flags on your paper clips. It's all just really cool stuff that you can use. I don't need it too big of a piece. And I'm just I want to gather this. I want it to be straight. And maybe I'll do one more card after this one because I don't want the video to be too terribly long. A live stream is with people. Like I'm recording this as a live stream so then I can easily upload it. But if you're doing it live and you're interacting with folks, I think folks tend to be a little more willing to watch for more than an hour. You can always, move through it, fast forward. This could be tedious. The other thing is I could stitch this on, which would look cute. I was in a Goodwill, this about a week ago, and found these Victorian, there were only two of them, like Victorian prints of a boy and a girl. So I'm putting those on. I put one on already for a card, but I'm going to stitch lace down the side. And I think that will look cute. I'd like to find more of those cutouts, but I haven't had any luck in locating. I might buy some more. And then I'm going to put in German, be my Valentine. I think it'll be cute. All right, so if I put a little lace there. I think I'm going to cut off that top. Not liking that, so let's try a piece of. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so let's scrunch this up a little bit more. And then we'll scrunch up our little I love you. And I think I want at least to see how it looks. Oh, look, I found it. This is look at these. Look how cute these are. Just going to put those on. No, it has to go this way. And then put a little sentiment on it. Maybe a little flower. There were only two. That was disappointing. It's an old candy box I covered with a piece of wallpaper. I love it. Let's see what I got in here. Oh, I got a piece of this. This is like a piece of old bedcloth that's really has seen better days, but I love it. And I want to use one of these might be cute because they're red. Of course, that's a cute piece of material as well. Look at that. I know. I'm taking way too long on cards. Let's see. I want something small. Maybe rectangle. So if I put that like that, or if I use a piece of, or both, how cool is that? That looks cool, right? And then I might put one of these little guys on there, but I got to get this glued down first. And I'm just using art glitter glue, and I put it in this little nose applicator. The thing with art glitter glue, it says not to let it get frozen. So if you're like me and you have the room that you work in, you turn the heat off, I make sure I take this into the other part of the house. So then I'm just going to layer these down, a little bit of glue. I'm not worried about the edges not being adhered down. And I'm going to put this card on a, what they call craft colored card blank. I love all those strings. Put my little book paper down. I'll kind of offset that across the little guy's bum. Right. And then let's just see. I don't think we need it. So I'll save that for another project. And I need a little glue down here, I think. Just so it's not real obvious that that napkin's pulled up a little bit. How sweet is that? Now I need to find a I'll use this one. Oh, I can't because I put my label on there, but this is how it's going to go. I'll just show you. We'll go on, and then I'll ink around the edges of that, and that should look cute. And let's see. Let's do this one. This I picked up on clearance. A whole pile of stuff. I think it might be by Ranger. I'm not sure. Or what's the Gypsy one? Seven Gypsies. It's a brand. You can get it at Michael's and Joanne Fabric. Make sure I get all my. I already cut some of it up. Oh, here we go. Seven Gypsies. On sale for $3. It was originally $8.49. Let's see, I'll cut all these out as well. You can use those for a host of different things. And a lot of it is sticker stuff. Now, the thing that I don't like is, look how, that's beautiful, right? It would be a beautiful card front. But look, it's also got cool stuff on the back. And that's too thin. I can't peel that apart. So I'll have to copy that. These are all stickers. A happy day. Look at a good one. Look how cute these are. Same thing. I've got some really cool letters on the flip side. sweet. So I was thinking there might be something in there I could use on this card, but maybe it would just be letters. But this background paper, I put that on a piece of cardstock. That was part of this package. That's where I was going with that. My brain kicked in. And then I had getting some notices here. Had a die cut from Crafter's Companion a while ago. So I have that cut out. And then I want to get my little, I don't know where my cutout is, so I'm going to cut her out again. Get my, stamp up my little gal if I remember where I put her. There she is. Just stamp this off on cardstock. And I'm going to fussy cut her a little bit. I'm going to leave just a little white edge, and I'm not going to be too particular how I cut her. It doesn't have to be perfect or exact. Probably could use smaller scissors. Oh, it'll come in a little bit. And then I'm going to ink this. Try to make it look, I could have stamped her on some craft paper. Didn't think about that until right now. But I might do that in the future. I can always come back and trim a little. Where I can, or when my brain kicks in, I like to move the paper rather than the scissors. Just keep a little bit of constant pressure. These scissors are not the sharpest. I love the Tim Holtz scissors, but when I'm cutting something like this, they have a little bit of a ridgy look to them, which I don't want on this particular piece. Normally it doesn't matter for most of what I do. Cut that into her neck a little too far, I think. And well, soften that up a little bit maybe. Oh, I can save those bits. I think I already inked around these edges. Maybe I didn't. No, I didn't do a good job if I did. So I'm going to re-ink that. I'm going to ink the edges of my lovely lady. And then I'm going to come in on top of her. Do a little bit of her face. Kind of make her look more of a sepia color. And then I'm going to ink the edges of my covered cardstock. Now, I don't have a Xyron machine to put glue on the back of something like this. So what I'll do is I'll just hit it in spots with some glue. And I do want to make sure all my little cut spots are out. A little tiny one might not come out. I did a video the other day showing a floating a color kind of technique. And I thought I'd hit the end video, and I'm fussing around, I'm talking, and I didn't. I always look at my videos. Didn't have time, went to watch a movie with my husband, and a friend said, "It sounds like you're on a phone call or something. You better check your video." Thank you, Susan. So I gotta make sure. You know how sometimes you click something and you think you closed it out, but you didn't get your mouse on there just right? That's what I did. And it's just going to hang over a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to position it, I think, like that. And then I'm going to take my needle nose and I'm just going to put some glue around the edge. And hope not too much squashes out. And then I'll hit some of the leaves here and there, so it'll stick down and a couple of spots here and there. It should be fine. And we've got spillage. Add some glue to those, a couple of those spots. Let me get my baby wipe and give it just a quick little clean up here. Should use this is what I should use. My plastic wrap. Let's put that back to use. All right. And then I'm going to pop her somewhere. Really like that rose cluster there, but I might use more of this tea bag. You can also, if you use those coffee bags, they dye really nice, and you have a much bigger surface because I think they're like about that big around, and you have a much bigger surface that you can, and you can stamp on the tea bags. That looks nice too. I should probably show you that. Sometimes I gather it. I didn't turn on my glue gun. I might give this a little bit of a crunch. It might be better. A long while ago, excuse me, I'm going to take a drink. A project, I guess it was my light bulb ornaments. And I made all these little tags to go on the ornaments, and I didn't use them. I've ordered these little rusty pins that are so sweet. Maybe I'll dangle one of those. I put a little heart on it. Where's my little Wrigley's can. I'm almost positive I have a little heart stamp in here. Or something really little. What's this one? That's a bug. Ladybug. That's too big, that heart. There's a little mini star. I think that heart's too big. Check it out. I thought I had a really teeny weeny. There's a little tiny flower. That might work. Another star. There's a heart. Some of these stamps, after a while, I don't have any sticky left to them. I can't get them to stick on my... All right, I'm going to do the heart. Let's see. I'm going to do it in the black. Oh, no. Stay on there, buddy. Oh, boy, that's cute. I'm going to get out my mouse pad for one little stamp. Love it. All right. Now I want to put some pop-ups in the back of my lady. I'll put one, let's see, let's put one there and here. I'll do here. Maybe I better do out on her hat brim. Here. Give those a good press. And I don't have my heat gun plugged in, which I thought I did. Now, let me just put some glue here and see if I can squish this and have it stay together. Kind of almost making a bow, kind of cinching it a little bit in the center and then fanning out those two sides. And I think what I want to do is have her there with this tucked underneath with a little bit hanging down. That's kind of raising her up a little more than I want her. So let me just tear this. Let's see if I can. I'll just maybe tuck it here. think I'm going to just glue that on there. And then I think I'm going to pin my rusty pin like that. But I think I'm going to poke a hole to make my life easier. If I can find my pokey tool. I was working on a journal. That out. And I kind of left thing up there. And I spotted it. I think I want it right in about here. This may not work. I think I need 2 holes. So I can put that pin through. I can always cut another lady. My tea bag is interfering a little bit. There we go. There we go. Now, what do you think? I think that looks cute. And then I'm going to put some sentiment on here. I think something about friendship. I have a friendship stamp. Let's see how I am on time. About an hour and a half. Just not sure where that friendship stamp is. Let's see if I have something that works with what I have pulled out. Love my tweezers, but I bent the ends of these. Don't work as well as they used to. I probably should put another little pop-up on the corner of that other side of her hat. We don't want her to be droopy. No drooping. Hold your chin up. Hold your hat up. Okay. She reminds me of my grandmother. My sweet, sweet granny. All right, let's see. Of course, you could use that. I could use this as a Mother's Day card. I've got a thinking of you. Oh, there's my Be Mine that I was looking for. Thinking of you might work. I think I pulled out a friendship one. Oh, hold the phone. Hold the phone. There it is, friends. I love that stamp. I love the way it looks when it's stamped. Now, let's see. I don't think I want to stamp that in black. I think I want to stamp that in the Tim Holtz color, in that vintage. And that's not going to stay. Let's see what we can do here. It's lost its grip, kids. It's lost its grip. So if I put that on here, just drop it and then use my block. That might work. But I have to be careful because I don't want the outside edge of the stamp. I want just the lettering. Give it a nice press. Not too bad. I'm going to give that a second to dry. And then I'm thinking I might want to layer that up like I did that other little card. And I had an extra piece of that material. Take that little bit off. We'll fray it a little bit. And I'm just tearing. I need it to be thinner. I think I want it down here, right? Now can't really tell without those edges inked. Let's give it an ink. Ink-a-dink. And this is going to go on a card front, so it really can hang off. Let's not forget about that. I want my fringy bits where I can see them. I think I like that. I think I want to put a brad to hold that together. I have these little mini, I can use a star, I can use a little mini a little dot. Well, maybe a heart would work, but I don't know if I need a star and a heart. So I'm going to do the little dot. And I'm going to use my little pokey tool. All right, here. Put my brad through. And then I'm going to poke it through here. And try not to stab my finger. And then open my bread. Easier said than done with these big old honking acrylic nails. Now we're going to really press that down. That looks cool. And then this will go again. I might do it on a white or a cream if I have a cream card blank. I guess I can make one, really. Well, you get the idea. So there are my cards for today. I didn't get much done, but I think we've been here long enough. I'll continue to work because I need more cards, but you get the idea. Once you get moving, different ideas come to you. Of course, you know what you have in your stash, but don't throw any of this old material away or your tea bags. My husband will say to me, "What garbage are we saving now?" But it just adds character and personality, especially if you're doing a journal. My gosh, these things just really jazz up a journal or an art journal page. It's just a lot of fun, at least for me. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to take time to be creative and enjoy the journey. And I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.